Do you watch Star Wars? And if you do, would you rather be a Jedi? It's a good question. I think that if I were in the Star Wars universe, I would be a grey Jedi. I would be a grey Jedi. And the grey Jedi is the sort of Jedi that uses a yellow lightsaber. And I thought about this so much so, my logo for Twitch is yellow. So the reason I picked yellow for my Twitch color scheme is because I feel like I'd use a yellow lightsaber in Star Wars. How much fun is that? How much fun is that? Grey Jedis, what they are is they're people that are in between the light and the dark side. And I think that's the only way to be Christian in the Star Wars universe. Because I'm a Christian myself. So the Jedi are like adopt Buddhist philosophy. And the reason why Anakin goes to the dark side is because he's unconvinced about the ideology that the best way to be human is to have no emotion and to be stoic and to not feel passion or care for others. And I agree with him on that. But also I think the dark side is not the best because that's where it's all about power and creating and instilling fear in your opponents to have power over them. And that's where you let your passions and your urges turn from love to lust and to be more about what you want for your own sake rather than for the sake of others. Whereas the Grey Jedi, I think they're called Grey Jedi. I think they're called Grey Jedi. They aren't part of the Jedi Order, so they are allowed to marry and they are allowed to love, but they do it in a way that's still for the benefit of others. Yeah, Mace Windu was a Grey Jedi, except for some reason he got a purple one because he's like, stuff it, I'm Mace Windu, I want a purple one. Grey Jedi is one who uses light, but uses anger and aggression and other dark side qualities. Yeah, and different Grey Jedi probably have different philosophies of how to be Grey Jedi. So I think like different Grey Jedi kind of err closer to one side or the other. But at least what I like is they acknowledge that they can have passion. And I think that's quite Christian. My view of God is that God is deeply passionate and a deep lover. I believe that God loves us more than he loves himself, to the point that he gave himself up to death for us. And so I think that a Jedi wouldn't think like that because they're not allowed to feel passion for others and feel love for others. And that's why Anakin was in such turmoil and in such strife, because he wasn't allowed to love Padme. He wasn't allowed to want to have children. So I think a Grey Jedi's philosophy suits me better. Whereas the Greys still aren't the dark Siths who are all about the self being the best. I mean, in the books and the comics and the actual stories that we don't get the Disney version of, they do some dark stuff. Eh? The Dark Jedi are only care for themselves and only want the best for themselves and put themselves first and instill fears in other people. I don't like that. I want kindness and love. But the Jedi consider love a weakness. But I follow a God who thinks love is the best way to know anything. That actually true knowledge requires commitment, and true knowledge of something actually requires loving it in order to know it well. And any scientist has to love to find a new discovery. And a lot of science doesn't get that. But the scientist has to love what they're doing and really commit their whole being. They commit more of their personhood than less of it to come to know something. Positivists. And so what that means is even in the most rawest academic scientific pursuit, we still have to love deeply to connect and touch reality. And it works for the same in a relationship. It works for the same playing a game when you love it. It works for the same when you're playing a sport. It works for the same when you're trying to figure out some really complicated math equation. Like, you really have to love it to stay committed to it, otherwise you're going to give up if you don't. The Jedi don't believe that's true, so I wouldn't be a Jedi. Yeah.